Okay, I'm just gonna have to talk over it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, hello, welcome, thank you so much for stopping by. Today's video is going to be my first Pan Those Shadows update. I definitely could have made better progress if I reached for these palettes more. You will see I'll talk about each shade a little bit, but yeah. I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes and I really just need to get better at focusing on the ones in the project specifically versus just, you know, grabbing all my palettes and just trying to use a little bit of everything, which, I mean, that's a good thing that I'm actually using my palettes and I'm not just focusing on these 5 at a time and ignoring all my other palettes. I just figured this would be a good way for me to focus on specific shades, maybe shades I wouldn't have normally gravitated towards in a specific palette, or maybe just to gravitate towards that shade and then use that specific palette as a whole. Or if I get a cohesive color story, I can try to combine the shades in each palette and just do like a look that way. But I'm gonna quit rambling. If you guys want to see my progress, then just keep on watching. Alright, so for this project I have 5 palettes at a time, and I'm going to go in order from my least used shade to my most used shade. So the first shade comes from this palette here. This is the Bakery Pandora box. I got this in Thailand, and the shade that was picked was this gray shade here. It's called Troll. This is what the shadow looks like. So I used this shade 4 times, and I definitely could have used this more. I could have used it in my Winter Soldier paint, my Thor paint, and gotten more use out of this shade that way. So only 4 uses on this one, so it'll be in here a little while longer, so I might have to incorporate it into another paint. I just forget to keep reaching for it because I just don't prefer these shades on my eyes. I'll have to really make an effort to use this shade. So the next shade comes from this Kat Von D palette. This is the Shade and Light Eye palette. So the shade from this palette is this one right here, and it's called Sytry, S-Y-T-R-Y. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce that. This one I used 6 times. And this one I mainly used as an eyeliner. So this is what the shade is looking like. I don't know if you guys can really see much of a dent. There isn't too much progress in it. I've mainly been using it with an angled brush or a liner brush and doing it for my brows or as eyeliner. This is what the shade looks like here, but I'm really trying to focus just on the middle of the pan to try and show some pan in here eventually. The next one is actually what's on my eyes today, and I did just use this palette. I didn't use any other palette on my eyes. So this is the one that's on my eyes, and this is the Juvia's Place Nubian 2 palette, and this emerald green shade Egypt is the one in the project here. So this is what the pan for it looks like. I've really been trying to focus my brush just in that little spot there. So I know we're going into springtime, so I don't know how much use I'm actually going to get out of this, and I've used this a total of 7 times. Making progress slowly but surely, but these pans are also very huge. Just do a little swatch of this one so we can kind of see what our current color story is going to look like. Just look how pretty that green shade is. I absolutely love it. So next is the BH Cosmetics Zodiac palette, and the shade in here was the Libra matte shade. Again, kind of like the Kat Von D shade, I've used this for my brows, for eyeliner, and there's a little bit of a dent in it. I do not think this one is showing up at all. I've used this 10 times, but you can barely see progress, at least on camera. In here, I can see there's a little bit of a dip going. Yeah, I've used this 10 times, and I think I'm going to roll this out because working on 2 dark matte shades is very, very hard, and I did hit the 10 uses goal for this one, so I'm going to roll this one out. I know it's technically not finished, but I gave myself the opportunity to roll something out if I did hit 10 uses on it, and I just didn't feel like working on it anymore, so I am going to be rolling this one out. So the last shade comes from the ColourPop Kathleen Light's Dream Street palette, and it was the shade Moony, and this one I did actually hit pan on. I don't know if you guys can see that there. So I will be able to roll this out. I used this a total of 14 times. Sometimes with that it was like, okay, I did both eyes, I did my face highlight with this, so that was a lot of dipping back into here. And if I used it as a face highlight, I counted that as 1 use as well, like even if it was the same day that I did an eyeshadow look with it. If it wasn't for using it as highlight, I don't think I would have hit pan on this as soon as I did. I think this would still be in the project as well. It's a very beautiful face highlight shade. If you're a similar skin tone to me, I definitely think using this as like an eyeshadow shimmer and then a face highlight really ties the look together and is really, really pretty that way. We will be rolling out 2 eyeshadow palettes. Alright, so I do have my spreadsheet pulled up and I do have a couple new eyeshadow palettes. So the number is different. I think last time we had like 85, 87. We are now at 92. So I do have it alphabetized. So there's a chance that if I roll, like say I roll number 5, it might be a different palette instead of being like the Alice in Wonderland palette or something like that. Or if I roll number 52, that was the Kathleen, I don't know if it actually was or not, but say it was the Kathleen Lights palette. Say I rolled that number again, but now there's a different palette in that spot. So the numbers might be repeated, but it could be a different palette. Or if it's a different number, it might be the same palette that was already in here. So I hope that makes sense. But if any of that happens, we are just going to redraw so I get a new palette to work on. We're going to randomize 2 palettes. Oh, I have it set with 0. Just kidding. I needed to start with 1. Alright, so we have 59, which is the Kaleidos Astro Pink palette. And then we have 37, which is the e.l.f. Opposites Attract palette. So this is the Kaleidos Astro Pink palette, and these are the shades right here. So this is going to be shade 1, and this is going to be shade 6, just because that's the way the little insert reads. Alright, so we have 1 to 6, and we have shade number 6. Shade number 6 is Lunar. So that is the shade we are working with from the Kaleidos palettes. And this is such a perfect like everyday crease shade for me. Then we have the e.l.f. Opposites Attract palette. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6, 12, 18 shades in here. We're going to go from shade 1 to 18. 1 to 18. And we have shade number 10. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So shade number 10, we have this shade called Witty. Alright, so we have another darker brown shade. Again, I feel like this color story is actually pretty cohesive. No extreme curveballs in the shade yet. Alright guys, so that is it for my Pan Those Shadows update. If you guys are doing this project, let me know down below so I can go check it out and just see what kind of color combos you end up with. Let me know what you think of the color story I got right here. If you think I'll ever hit pan on, you know, these darker shades. If you've hit pan on a Juvia's Place shimmer, let me know how long that takes on a full-size shimmer, because this one is literally the most product I have to work for. Because it is the largest pan, it's so creamy, so a little bit goes such a long way. I feel like I just need to cover myself in this shadow just to show any like dent in the pan. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button down below and turn on the little bell notifications. You guys know every single time that I upload. And yeah, I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!